ready to begin?
No.
Yeah.
Define ready.
We are going to start this episode off a little bit different than usual. We are going to, I guess, consider everything up to this point part of the prelude. We've had some technical issues. We had a lot of audio issues, visual issues, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully this will be a good starting point. We will, tell everybody everything that's happened up to this point. There will still be the VODs of what happened on YouTube eventually. They just won't be connected to this like in a playlist or anything, but you can find them if you're curious to see everything that's happened at like 6, 7, 12 hours. How long has it been? Like 15 hours?
Yeah, getting towards that, I'd imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Say something like that.
So
you got a spare day.
About 20, actually. If you think about it.
It's a lot of time.
About 5 hours a week for a month.
Yeah, this is our fourth session.
Yep.
Yep.
The story begins on a wealthy industrial planet known as Prometheus, where we first start out meeting a somewhat serious bounty hunter, chasing after a not so serious target. So if Ricardo would like to introduce his character, the bounty hunter, to everyone, just kind of give a basic idea and what happened at the beginning from your perspective.
My name is Avon Ware. I'm a bounty hunter from Saga 7, and I've been hunting down this con man. I was hired to do so by a man named O'Malley.
Lyle O'Reilly.
Lyle O'Reilly. Oh, man.
O'Malley.
Close enough. Close enough.
So anyways, what happened was I caught up to the con man, and unfortunately, it didn't go my way. He's a very clever guy. We ended up having to fight together, and so eventually we just kind of after realizing, you know what, it's kind of not worth the bounty since everything screwed up on Prometheus. Let's just I guess work together and do what we got to do.
Well, let's hear from the con man, Scott, his point of view,
Con
what
man.
happened. And
Unbelievable.
it's we refer to you as.
My name is Jed McJedi, or Jedi McJedi in full. I come from the planet Jupiter. And I am a con man. I managed to win a mining facility off Lyle O'Reilly, hence the bounty that was on my head. And then an inept bounty hunter arrived to try and claim that bounty. Disappointingly, we then got attacked by robots before I could con him out of everything he owned. He broke my chandelier, and then we had to fight our way through the streets of Prometheus to escape the planet.
Yep. And as they both mentioned, things did go to crap very fast as the planet was hit by robotic bipeds that were coming to claim supplies and stuff off of Prometheus. As they descended down on the planet, they caused all kinds of just chaos, breaking through things, including hitting one building that one of our members were in. She fell from about 9 stories, and she got to meet another person where she's more cybernetic and futuristic. She got to meet someone who was more of a Neanderthal, like a caveman. So a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
If Kala would like to introduce her character and what happened from her point of view.
Well, I mean, Amalthea still doesn't really understand what happened.
Yeah.
Got no social context as to what incurred, like, at all. But my character is Amalthea. She is from a planet called Revexerit, and that I say differently every time I say it. Sorry. And she is basically a cyborg. She's human, but made up of a lot of robotic parts after being put back together. And yeah, when she went through the buildings, she was faced with a party member who's not here called Dr. Fixit, PhD.
Not a doctor.
And he said a lot of things that Amalthea didn't really understand because she doesn't understand social cues at all, which is probably good.
So, as she pointed out, our friend Rich is not here right now, who is acting as the who acts as the character Dr. Fixit, PhD. He is the epitome of the id in the human psychological field, said by Sigmund Freud. He is the concept of if he wants something, he takes it. If he dislikes something, he breaks it. He is just basic human want And one of the things he wanted was, of course, Kala's character Amalthea. He saw her, and as you do, immediately fell in love and was attempting to, in his words.
No, the first thing he said was
Yep.
pound, which Amalthea was like, "Why do you want to hit me?"
Yeah. And then you asked
Like-
him if his finger was broken whenever he did
Oh
that
yeah. I,
gesture.
said,
Yeah.
I asked if his finger was hurt. Yeah.
So from his perspective, where yours was, I don't understand what's happening, from his, you're both in love and it's going to happen any day now.
He's just waiting for the signal from Jed. Jed's gonna give him the go.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
But luckily,
He really
the-
did too.
oh, I guess
Yeah,
then we
he
also
did.
get to jump over to a couple psychs that were dropped down. They're from a prestigious psychic academy, and it's to help people with a disease known as metadimensional extroversion syndrome. It's when controlled properly, people get these great powers such as healing, telekinesis, things like that. But when not, people can literally go crazy. It can lead to death. It can cause them to accidentally kill everything they know and love. It can be Carrie from the movie Carrie. So it's not the best, but it was there with our friend who's played by Kirk, who also is not here, who is a biosoptic healer named Dedius Phone. And then, of course, the other one, our friend, Dedius Phone, our friend Jesse. If you want to go ahead and introduce your character.
Friend, you mean? No. My character is Austin Buttersworth, and he hails from a planet Sagittarius 4, I believe. We have so many planets that it's just tough to keep track of. Yeah, Sagittarius 4. I don't know why I added a G. But
Cool.
we were at the planet to do some stupid, boring schoolwork, and all of a sudden some robots attacked. I was having fun watching some dude trying to hit on some robot very unsuccessfully. And then shit started going down, so Dedius Phone started running with them and, trying to keep up, and I didn't want to be left behind, so I just followed along.
There you go. And then, of course, since stuff was going to crap, the local military of the whole region decided to drop down some planetary defense, which, of course, introduced our final character of the main party. Kyle, would you like to introduce your character?
My name is Marcus Silney. I am a ex-space marine from the planet Cerberus, where my home city and a few neighboring cities got run over by some
Reindeer.
parasites. And
I said reindeer.
oh,
I'm sorry.
some parasites, and for reasons I cannot go back to my city and neighboring cities. So after that, I went on to be a drifter, and that's when I ran into the Atlantean fleet, who made me a soldier. And as Jordan said, I got dropped down to the city, where I met this whole group of I want to say civilians, because that's what I saw them as
Okay.
first, and now call them friends, allies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And meetup they did somehow in this cosmic universe of quasi potential possibilities. Our ragtag group of misfits did in fact meet up. You guys can now, if you want, tell me from your point of views, if you want, what you believe happened as you attempted to flee this planet from a robotic invasion. Don't all go at once.
I had two objectives. I had to try and leave the planet and to get rid of Avon. So every opportunity I had, I tried to push him in front of robots. I also had a third objective, which was to make Butter's suit as dirty as possible, because I have this suit that I've had for many years. It's a bit torn and battered around the edges, and I was jealous of his suit, so I kept wiping my bloody hands on it, making it as grim as I could.
Which you pretty much did successfully.
Until I got knocked out by Dr. Fix-It, yeah. Yeah, that was
hilarious.
Dr. Fix-It used a stun baton.
I guess I
on
should,
Jed.
I guess I should just explain that Jed, being a con man, likes to just try and mess with people's minds a little bit, so they don't know when he's being serious. because that's the best way to con people, is to make people think that you're always joking, and then flip it around and change the dynamic slightly. So that was kind of what he was going for with the whole group, and it's certainly with Dr. Fix-It and with Avon, I think that worked, and I think he's getting there with Butters. But as I say, from an
to add to like the whole stun thing, I think my goal was to keep Jed alive because he was still bounty I needed to collect. But I think later on, though, I think I kind of realized that there might not be any hope of collecting this bounty. So I guess I'll just work together with this guy.
You love him, don't you?
Admit I don't love him. I think there's like this kind of like this, you know. I think this guy might not be entirely that. No, Jordan. I think that this, like, in Avon's thoughts, I think he's kind of like, this guy might not just be that con man. I think even though he kind of presents himself as that, I think we could all like just be like work together in some way for and you know, in helping people at least.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Jed thinks that.
Yeah.
Well, I think from my point of view, or Butter's point of view, I should say, when he first started going with everyone, it was more out of boredom and out of just not wanting to do his homework. Well, you know,
you still got that paper you need to write.
He didn't see it as necessity, but you know, I guess you could say that. But as time has gone on, he's kind of starting to see these people as more friends than just, you know, someone to pass the time with type of deal. He has a lot of acquaintances, but he's starting to make friends.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add in with this, or do you think it's pretty much summed up?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Amalthea just thought it was inconvenient that she wasn't going to be able to do what she was supposed to do on this planet. Like, oh, the planet's blowing up. This sucks.
Yeah.
And just kind of went with whoever knew how to get out. And that was her whole.
Well, from here, they found a civilian type vehicle piloted by a man named Leroy Nimrod and his two crew members. Jed, of course, promised a great deal of wealth to Jed to help them off the planet, saying that Avon would pay him, regardless the fact that he would have completely done it for free. Jed offered him 5,000 credits, and they they left to make their way to a planet called Minatius, which is an ocean world. So, you know, once they got to the ocean planet, they were asked by, unless there's something else you guys want to chime in with from the ride there, where Jed kept trying to convince Dr. Fix-It about his guns cost or wealth, how much it costs.
So Dr. Fix-It had a penchant for picking up anything that dropped off a dead body. So I was trying to convince him that everything he picked up was worth more than he thought it was.
Significantly more.
I was also trying to convince Leroy Nimrod that we would pay when we got there, and that Avon had the money on him. And when I realized that didn't look like it was going to happen, I tried to convince him with the dust from my chandelier that Avon broke in the office that they were priceless gems. He saw through that one as well. So we were I was not only a bounty for $5,000, I was in debt for $5,000 for a pilot that would have flown us somewhere for free. So a successful start.
Mm.
So they found themselves on the oceanic planet Minatius. They were asked by its leader, Andre Martin, to help deal with a pirate issue that they had, and were told they could get passage from a sea captain known as Ramilton. If you guys would like to go ahead and tell me about this expedition.
We fought pirates.
It went relatively okay.
Other than the fact that Dr. Fix-It PhD took it upon himself to buy, was it 34 flares?
35.
It was like
35.
Yeah.
He believed he could use to catch all of the pirate ships on fire, regardless the fact that they're lights, not fire.
Yep, that was great.
What was a good idea, just poor execution.
Throughout the time, of course, Jed managed to build up a larger debt as well, adding an extra couple thousand onto it.
Yep.
But I did also convince Andre Martin that if we brought back pirate heads, we could have an increased bounty, increased reward.
Yeah, 7,000.
Which Marcus was very enthusiastic about.
He was
Yeah,
very
He was
enthusiastic.
like, I'm gonna jump over on that boat. I'm gonna jump back.
As the
Yep.
only lawman between us, he was the
Yeah.
one who was the keenest to chop people's heads off, which is a bit disconcerting. But
Well, they were pirates, so they're already bad.
Yeah.
And we
As the
have
police force.
Is that how you sleep at night?
What is that noise?
What is that noise?
What the F is that?
Yeah.
I think it might be.
Predator.
That's from Kala.
I think it might be Carla.
Oh, you have a helicopter in your mic.
Yeah.
Because it's a taser
Ooh.
or predator or both.
Wow.
Ow.
Wow.
That's the
Ah.
stun baton apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
That
That
was
was-
terrifying.
I mean, it sounded like
So-
something else, but
So as Colin told us, they flew over the pirate ships where they were able to assassinate the pirate captain. They paid everybody off, including Ramilton, the ship captain.
really quickly. I mean, I suggested leaving him nothing, but Marcus was keen to make sure he paid his debts,
Yeah.
which left
That
us
was one.
which left us with
the one-
18 credits
yeah.
each or something, I think, from memory.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. And then you guys all gambled
Yeah.
it, and Dr. Fix-It got it all.
Yep. Yeah, if you ever want to get under Jed's skin, is make a deal and then stick to that deal while he tries to cut that deal in half.
Which he did successfully cut in half.
Nope.
And
No, he
then-
did, and then you gave away the extra
He
anyway.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he did, and then I paid in full.
So after leaving the group, or leaving the planet, the group goes to a planet called Epimetheus.
Might
I
I
hate
just
you.
add that I got the kill shot on the head pirate. I'm just throwing
Yeah,
that
he
out
got
there.
the one final shot off on him after Avon hit
Yep.
him quite a few times.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so they went to
Bastards.
Epimetheus.
I
the
hate this
that
planet.
Contains the prestigious Psych Academy. Everybody there's psychic. They can read everybody's minds. It was a bunch of fun for Jed because he couldn't get away with anything.
It was pretty cool. I liked it.
It was even more fun for Dr. Fix-It.
Yeah, we'll get there. So this is where
Yeah.
Jed stood attended. And they met all sorts of trouble, such as students were randomly disappearing, random people were being controlled by this anarchist leader, and of course, last but not least, as Jesse mentioned, not Dedius, Dr. Fix-It, PhD, managed to go and get himself arrested
Yep.
because this is a weapons-free zone, and he thought it'd be fun in front of a bunch of people that can read minds to walk around with every weapon in his backpack, including one that's banned throughout the entire galaxy
Yep.
as a capital offense.
let's
So-
just highlight how he got himself arrested, shall we?
Yeah, why don't you guys told me all about Epimetheus and what happened.
This is your home. This is your university
Oh,
planet,
shit.
Jesse. Come on.
I you kinda, my bad.
I
thought
hate
you were
this
on
planet.
Scott.
So while we were trying to figure out things and getting settled at my apartment, Dr. Fix-It decided to go off on his own, and he found a fight club. So he
Yeah.
decided to try and make a few extra dollars, and got into a fight with a big bad guy.
Nathan.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Nathan. He seemed to be doing okay because Nathan took a swing at him and missed. And then what did he do? He pulls out a stun baton and goes to hit him in a bare knuckle boxing fight surrounded by
Sykes who have
Psych.
money on the fight.
yeah. So he was downed in a second. Uh,
I don't even know if it lasted that long.
I was
well,
nice
yeah.
enough to at least make
Yeah.
it non-lethal because it would have been 19 damage.
yeah.
His head
And
would have exploded or melted.
from the
So it's
inside
like
out.
you got
yeah.
knocked out.
It's weird
then,
because I thought it'd be resilient to any kind of brain attack.
Well, Jordan said what out of the 13, only like 6 of them hit or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
There were
So then he was dragged outside and searched, and on his personage was what's called a suit ripper, I believe, which is a highly, highly illegal weapon across the galaxy, across the known everything. You
Mhm.
don't have a suit ripper, and he had one. So, bye bye.
Yep. He's been in prison ever since.
Yeah, pretty much. That was 2 sessions ago. 3.
2 sessions.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 sessions, yeah.
Time flies when you don't have Rich in the party.
I have not
Weird.
had any uncomfortable sexual innuendo to deal with. It's been great.
Until the cameras go off.
Yeah.
Until we stop streaming on Twitch. We can take our
Yeah.
shirts off.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm assaulted. It's awful.
Yeah, she's salty.
So many hairy man boobs. I just can't.
Yeah, you should put them away, Carla.
I can't contain myself. I can't help it.
And then the bar,
Yeah,
we got drunk.
We got wheel
Yep.
drunk.
they got real drunk.
There was a
So much
reason.
so that Avon missed the last session.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was a
so I
reason we
was-
went to the bar, which
They
was
all
to try and
left while
obtain
I was still
information.
passed out drunk, by the way. So
Oh, you were in the cab. You and the cabbie
Yeah.
had your own
Oh,
adventure. That could
yeah,
be like
we
a
did.
side.
Side story.
This is a side story.
so
Yeah,
there I
the whole
was.
thing yeah, Avon telling his adventures to the cab driver.
So there I
And the
was.
cab
yeah.
driver getting really into it, so he'd like look back at him while driving down the
Yeah,
road.
he was like,
Yeah. The cab driver being drunk as well.
"Whoa."
Basically.
So yeah. So that's where I left off, was passed out, and
And as Jed said, there was a reason you guys were there.
Yeah, I had taken the precautions I felt necessary to make sure that I wasn't in danger of having my mind read by putting tinfoil in my hat.
"Yep."
Turns out that didn't work as Butters read my mind, which freaked me
It's
out a little
because
bit.
you didn't believe enough. You have
Yeah.
to believe.
So
Or
I
you didn't use enough tinfoil.
yeah, both could be possible options. But we went to find someone that Butters knows from his recreational habits to find some
Yeah.
information about the criminal underworld. This is where Amalthea, Marcus, and Avon indulged a little too heavily, especially since we were
Y'all
trying
were
to
taking
find the
long.
reason for
Yep.
missing students.
yeah, well, you
Um,
guys were taking long, so whatever.
We
Marcus
managed
thought
to.
it would
Yeah.
be a good idea to give Amalthea lots of alcohol.
Hmm.
I gave
Because
you
she
one
never
drink.
had alcohol.
Well,
It wasn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
We had a grand old
The
time.
rest of the people in the bar started buying you drinks.
Probably.
We left, found a taxi, and realised that we were being followed. So I asked the taxi driver to pull up. I went and stood down an alleyway pretending to take a wee.
Pretending.
Turns out
Yep.
someone was watching, and every time I unzipped my flies, they watched. Every time I zipped them back up, they turned around to run off. So we sent Butters on the chase after him.
Which I ended up starting to chase him, and somehow I just unlocked this new psychic ability, and I toppled him over with some random trash that was laying on the side of the road, and we caught up to him, and yeah, we were able to question him would be a bad choice of words because his mouth was sewn shut,
Mhm.
but yeah, we were.
Everything was kind of sewn back together.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. So we got the cab and tossed him in the trunk.
As you would.
He was basically a victim
Yes.
of a lobotomy.
The only thing he had on was a syringe that we knew was some kind of.
Anesthetic.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So we headed to the police station to try and solve the fix-it problem.
You guys also got to meet Azula Patrolna, which was our friend Matt's character. It's it's like a blue alien species type creature, and one of the commanders. What?
That's just interesting to me. Continue.
Ooh.
You've already met one
He's thinking
Like
that
when we
scene in
first-
Total
first
Recall. This is the
landed.
problem.
Yeah.
when you first landed.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember now.
yeah. It's the species that Matt made that I actually already forgot the name of because it was something ridiculous. But yeah, so they landed to take away Dr. Fix-It PhD and bring them back to a space station called the Atlas. Fun fact for the players, actually my character was there as well. The character I made just in case it was needed. James Landervelt was one of the 4 guards.
Wow.
Yeah. I made a character just in case the difficulty was ever too hard and they needed some extra people there. Ricardo put it up.
Put it up.
James Vanderbeek.
James, yeah.
James Vanderbeek.
It was at that moment we found out
Vanderbilt.
that that Dr. Fix-It was scheduled to be executed.
Mm-hmm. totally part of my plan in the scheme of things. It wasn't Matt just improvising everything because he didn't look at his notes. Surprisingly enough, he was able to tell that Marcus's character was part of planetary defense and kept everything the way it should be. So he did a pretty good job. Anyway, yeah, so they were being taken away to the Atlas. And then you guys had to try and figure out all the other issues that were going on, including the man that you now had stuck in your trunk.
Whoa, hey now.
Those allegations were never proven.
Allegedly.
I mean, we did let him out and we followed him.
Yeah.
And where did that take you, Kyle?
It took us to a wall.
Amalthea bumped into about 6 times.
He's 100% correct. It did bring you to a wall.
Yeah, it was actually a hologram wall.
Mm-hmm.
That then led us down some stairs into a research facility.
And then what'd you do, Marcus, whenever you saw that there was some scientist experimenting on one of the many disappeared students?
I tackled him because I was drunk.
Didn't
know what he was doing.
Into the person.
I'm like, that's a bad guy.
I
I need to stop him.
As much as I like to see Ricardo shave,
yeah,
just watching him stabbing himself with a knife.
It's really dull. It's just scratching.
But he was able to get the victim patient, whatever you want to call him, saved. The good doctor did still patch him up because he didn't want the people to die. He was just experimenting on them, trying to learn about how the mind of people with MES, the metadimensional extroversion syndrome,
operating
works.
on his stomach. I think is what you said. And the doctor was like operating on his stomach.
Yeah.
You got to figure out all the insides.
Yeah, he did. No, well, he was
true.
saying if there were any differences on any of the other organs or anything, something that could be linked to MES. But that's like the weird backstory stuff that I just figured out. They can imagine whatever they wanted. And you guys got him arrested. He set all the other people free. Austin Buttersworth was reunited with a good old friend of his.
Tanuk.
And
we saved him. Yeah.
Saved your roommate.
Raccoon dog?
But unfortunately, things went to crap from there, because then they were called on the phone by Austin Buttersworth's friend Neb, telling them crap is going to crap up at the academy, where there's this giant spiraling spire that goes up where the council chamber is, and there was a giant like black and purple tornado surrounding it as the sky was all dark, and one of the professors was flying hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air, basically just causing all the anarchists to attack the school. And all of the people there were fighting against the anarchists, and the rest of the party ended up joining in the fray, where, of course, they had plenty of fun in an elevator.
Yeah, so just before the elevator, there was quite a hectic scene when we arrived, and I decided that a distraction was what we needed. So I convinced Butters to strip naked in the hope that would distract some of the people who were guarding the elevator. And it worked flawlessly.
It definitely did. Yeah.
I mean, you didn't realize that would lower your armor class, but it worked flawlessly.
So then after that, I put my armor back on, but stayed naked for the plan.
Yeah.
Other than that. Because, I mean...
I forgot to mention the other parts of how Austin lost the rest of his clothes. Like when on the pirate planet, Jed ripped up his jacket. Well, first his jacket, then he tore off the bottom part of his pant leg to make an eye patch for Avon so he could disguise himself as a pirate and trick the captain, which didn't work. And actually, he threw away the eye patch before it was ever used.
Yeah. I know what you're thinking. Jed is a genius.
But anyway, so yeah, then you guys...
Yeah, we got in the elevator. Jed, over the course of this story, has a bit of a history with motion sickness as well.
Yes, horrible.
And the elevator tends to spin round like some kind of crazy theme park ride. So
it spins around the spiral and rotates as it does it.
So vomited quite a few times in that. We got to the top of the elevator and things were a bit of a mess up there, from what I recall.
Especially for Jed, who then went back down the elevator.
And threw up again.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say about Jed is he doesn't like being on the front line of combat. So as soon as he went back down to the in the elevator to get one of the professors, because we thought we could use his help, went back up the elevator again and tried to step back in the elevator once the professor stepped out so he could go back down. Unfortunately, the professor used his telekinesis to drag me out of the elevator as well. But then we had a cunning plan.
That totally worked.
A foolproof
Yep.
plan, which was to use the vial that we found on the man in our trunk to
The
stab
anesthesia.
the anarchist leader who was floating
Mhm.
around above the spire. So telekinesis away, we were going to fire Marcus with the needle pointing at the anarchist to take him down in one foul swoop, and it went flawlessly
So
from what I
Dr.
recall.
Valduela shot him at the female flying above the place. Another one of the blue creatures for Ricardo, who's laughing at his wall.
Sorry, no. It's because my window, I see like the dude just using the leaf blower out there.
Who's the dude?
The
dude.
gardener
Dude.
guy.
The
dude.
Like,
The dude.
Yeah. The
The
dude.
dude
gardener dude
abides,
for like the
man.
apartments.
The dude
gardener
abides.
Yeah, but like the gardener guy for the apartments.
Ricardo has his own gardener.
It's for the
And he
apartment.
lives in an
Wow.
apartment.
Where's he from?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Anyway, that is
That aside.
yeah.
They took their jobs.
They eventually managed to take her out as Marcus Cielny pretty much crit launched into her. Unfortunately,
Yep.
he was drunk, so he had the syringe pointed the wrong way. But he still managed to pull it off after he hit her at 1 billion miles per hour.
Still knocked her out.
And then they both came spiraling down to the earth, where they were saved again by Dr. Vaduelas, the psychic person. And then they had a big ceremony celebrating how much they helped and all this other stuff, all the things
Yeah.
they did.
Chewbacca was there and everything.
Yeah, it was great.
Yep.
And it was
they
at
got
that point-
medals.
It was that point we managed to convince the authorities to take Dr. Fixit off the execution list, from what I
Yep.
recall.
Yep.
Yeah, now he's just facing life in prison.
Yeah.
And everything that entails.
So they flew away
In a ship.
to they got in the ship, the same one with Leroy Nimrod, who is now, I guess, one of their buddies, and they flew to the Atlas. I mean, he got like a free 6,000 credits out of you guys, so I think.
Well,
he's
that's why I told him
grown
I'd
to kinda
pay
like
for
you.
him and then offered him a job.
Yeah,
It was all
which is
the
doing pretty
long
good
con.
because his original one was trading stuff from Prometheus, which is now kind of not doing so
Gone.
well.
Defunct.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys got to the Atlas, the big space station where there's giant military forces that watches over the entire system, and that's also where Matt's character, whose name I already forgot again, the Petrolna.
Azula.
Yeah, that was it, Azula Petrolna, left and got back to working her command. And go ahead and tell me about your adventures on the Atlas, because I know Jed in particularly had some pretty alright success here so far.
Yeah, I think the first thing that occurred happened to Amalthea though.
Yes, it did.
It's true. So robots are not liked in all of the places, and she is kind of half robot. So upon getting to the planet, they were made to walk through like a sensor, like a metal detector, to just like screen whether they were human or robot. And she kind of got surrounded by a bunch of guards pointing guns at her because
And forced on her
obviously
knee.
robot parts.
And,
I think it was also to make sure we didn't have weapons as well.
Yeah,
that was
that-
basically
it's
like-
everything.
It was
Yeah,
just
it's like
like
a
a
metal-
general scan.
Yeah,
Um,
metal/scan detector for everything.
Yeah, but whenever all of a
Luckily,
sudden
though-
like it goes off and someone turns and their red eyes going.
Yeah, she does
Or
kind of have a
worrisome.
robot eye, so that's a thing. But luckily, they know about her kind, quote unquote. So it went
Mhm.
relatively okay once she explained herself.
Yep.
So
And
she did not die. Hooray!
And as for Jed,
Always good.
on arriving in the in I guess the sort of the lounge after docking,
oh, we were talking all right.
Good old
You
Leroy.
got to meet up with an old friend.
Yeah, I made the conscious effort of pulling my hat down so no one would recognize me. However, somebody recognized me from at least like 200 yards away.
Someone recognized him that would recognize him no matter where in the world he was.
Where in
was-
the world is Jed McJedi?
He was causing a bit of a ruckus in the sort of check-in area, and then it turned out that character was Lyle O'Reilly, the man whose mine I had. He was hurling abuse at anyone who he could hurl abuse at, and then he spotted me. I got called over, and the lady he was shouting at was particularly helpful. She seemed to be some kind of insurance lady who does a bit of everything. Who was fed up with Lyle hurling abuse at her, realised that I was the legal owner of the mine, and paid me lots of money. So I also dropped into the conversation that Mr. O'Reilly had placed an illegal bounty on me, which then got him arrested. Thankfully, the only person who was with me at that point in time was Marcus, so I asked him if he would keep quiet about any funds that had come into my onto my credit chip.
Didn't you also suggest you were giving?
I might
even
do.
a piece
I
of
might
that
do some. I
monetary
might
action?
do. Yeah, I suggested that I might do, but depends
He's
how
not
nice
sure
he
yet.
is.
He's still thinking about it.
Well, he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't there. He was still floating around in the background.
Passed out. Yeah.
So I'm, I've got money burning a hole in my pocket. But as a con man, I don't like to spend money unless I know I'm going to get more back.
And then, of course, you guys got to go to talk to the High Council area of this region and talk to the 3 senators over the Atlas, trying to plead to get Dr. Fix-It back. And how'd that go for you guys? That was mainly Jed and Austin. Marcus was kind of there. Amalthea was already gone at that point, trying to scavenge for stuff for her planet. Avon was still suffering from a hangover.
That went particularly well. They didn't really have any time for us, and they sat on these really high chairs, so I got a bit of a sore neck. But there was something amiss with between the 3 of them. We noticed that there was the Knights of Emanon.
Yep.
Lots of soldiers from the Knights of Emanon, which Jed knows a little bit about from his past. Not a huge amount, but he was trying to keep a low profile. They didn't seem to be particularly interested in Jed, but when we got to speak to the council, there seemed to be something amiss about the Knights of Emanon being there. We tried to offer our assistance or to get any information out of them that we could, and we weren't particularly successful at that. So we left.
The military counselor.
Yep. Senator Slagle.
Yeah, seemed to be particularly upset that the knights were just like more or less wandering around the station.
Yeah. And then we ended on a cliffhanger of Senator Slagle sending a message to Austin, who left his number there for any of them that wanted to contact him.
Yeah.
And that